everybody. Today I'll be discussing on how to make a difference in the world by international adoption. I'll be explaining how to adopt a child internationally. Did you know that around the world, thousands of children are growing up in orphanages, group homes, foster cares with no feasible plan to go home to an adopted family? In an article I recently read by Gabrielle Mescal in 2014 called "The Quiet Migration is an Inter-Country Adoption Successful Intervention in the Lives of Vulnerable Children." In this article, she discussed the benefits of adopting children around the world. Not only does it help parents achieve parenthood, but it also offers stimulating and nurturing upbringing in those less fortunate. Today, I'll be showing you how to adopt a child from an international country based on my own personal experience being adopted from India, and then also research that I've done. I'll be showing you and discussing on 3 topics: choosing a country, how to be eligible to adopt, and then also finally applying for adoption. So let's get started. We're going to first discuss choosing a country. So depending on your preference and what different things you might want to choose from, some countries need more adoption than others, so we kind of want to put that in perspective. According to Child's Hope International in 2018, China, India, and Ukraine need adoption the most. When researching, you need to consider costs in different aspects. Some agencies or countries require a lot more fees. They might have the paperwork fees, travel, stuff like that. So you kind of want to look into cost and see how much that you can afford budget-wise. Another thing is cultural and race. Race has a lot to play on. You kind of want to be considered what kind of issues might arise by having such a different type of race in my family, or different cultures. You might want to learn about it if you want that kind of aspect in the child's life going forward. Another thing, travel requirements. Some countries require travel arrangements. I recently read, according to the +1 article in 2013, First Parent-Child Meetings in an International Adoption, there's roughly about 30,000 international children being adopted every year worldwide. And almost all of the parents travel to the child's country of birth to meet them and bring them home. This is not the case for all of them. As for me and my experience, my parents did not have to travel to the country of India to get me. They did it all over, just did all the paperwork. It took a few years. However, they didn't have to travel to India to get me. I actually, once it was final, they flew me over here and I got to be here. So next I'll be discussing making yourself eligible to adopt. There's a lot of different things I didn't know when you had to look at being how eligible you were. Such as you must be a U.S. citizen for 25 years or older. Couples have to be married for a year. Some have to have parenting classes. I mean, according to the article Journal of Applied Philosophy, Licensing Parents in International Contract Pregnancy, it states that some parents have to undergo a home study and a mandatory parenting class before adopting your child. I mean, it makes sense. You would have to learn how to parent. What if these are first-time parents or something like that? So that makes me feel more comfortable that they had to do some kind of parenting classes before they can just take a child from somewhere else. So another thing is that parents can have more than 2 divorces. I guess that makes sense as well. I mean, coming from a broken home, you probably don't want people in and out and always having, you want more of a foundation for that child. So that makes sense. Another thing that you would have to put into consideration to be eligible is chronic illness history of cancer, or severe health conditions. Though these are based on case by case, but some things that they might question those, so you have to be prepared. I'll be finally going over how to actually apply for adoption. First, filling out the application, any fees that might have to go. A lot of times they'll do a home study, and a home study will assist in your home life, family environment, and see if it's suitable for the child. Now, as I leave you with these thoughts, adoption can be very beneficial to the child in need, but also the family to be considered. I just want to kind of go over what I informed you on how to adopt. I went over choosing a country, eligibility requirements, and applying for adoption. I want to leave you with this. Adopting one child won't change the world, but for that one child, it will change. So I thank you, and I appreciate you listening to me today. Have a good one.